Welcome to another episode. That welcome was so weak. Welcome back to the That's Scary with Melanie P podcast. This is the first podcast recording of 2024. Let me play the little thing. We are back with season 2. I know you thought that we weren't going to come back, but we are. You can hear that my voice is struggling, but it is what it is. I'm going to just go with the flow. We have a guest with us, Hamilton. How are you doing today?
Doing great.
Oh, yes, you're doing good. How was your day?
It was, typical day, hustle and bustle, but it was good.
Nice. So it is 2024, right? And we know that the world is inundated with all of these new year, new me goals and all this stuff like that. How did you end your 2024, Hamilton?
Tired.
Tired?
Yeah, it was but I ended it, with the holidays and family and friends, and and was just getting ready for the new year. So
Yeah,
not, nothing, nothing special,
nothing special. So I ended 2024 pretty good. Like, if you recall, on the very, very last episode that I had, we had S.J. Nixon on the show, and I forgot to press record. He was very mad. He had had several drinks. I had had several drinks, and we had to record 3 or 4 times. I don't even remember. And it ended up being a pure shit show. But it is what it is. And that's how we ended the podcast. As far as like Christmas, my Christmas was pretty good. I'm not really a holiday person. Just to be honest, I feel like when you are of a certain age, it just really becomes like one big bill. And so I'm grateful for like the holiday. I'm grateful for like the PTO and the time off and the time with family. But in terms of like just the holidays, like I'm just ready to get through it. So like literally the day after Christmas, I took all my decorations down because I didn't want to see it anymore. I had like several days off the next week. So I feel like I ended it really good. It was really good to connect with family and to do all those things. It was really, really good. I feel like a lot of people had a lot of like seasonal depression. I feel like that was a big thing. It's a big thing every year, you know what I'm saying? But I really felt it strong, this past December. But then we rolled in January. So I had all of these like plans for like January. Like I wanted to start fresh and do all these things. And then I got sick. And then all types of like things started happening that kind of derailed my plans on like what I had planned. So I had to just kind of like go with the flow and kind of like swing, go with the flow, whatever. I had a horrible situation happen to me last weekend. I'm gonna be, my favorite line, I'm raw and transparent. One of my like 2024 goals was to just kind of network more, meet new people, meet new couples and stuff like that. I met a young lady, Kia. She might be on the show. Cool young lady. And we went to dinner last weekend. So New Year's Eve, we didn't really do anything. But I decided, I'm like, let's just go to dinner. It's a restaurant we go to that we really like. And, I took a edible before I went to the restaurant. And I've taken edibles several times before. I've never had really any issues. This is our first time hanging out with this couple. Like I hung out with the girl before, but we never hung out like as couples to couples. So this was my first time meeting her husband, and kind of doing a couple thing. So we get to the restaurant. I took an edible and literally 15, 20 minutes in to the dinner, I was losing my mind. Like I was hallucinating and I was trying so hard to like hold it together. But I really couldn't. And I was just like, what is happening to me? And I was like, please do not make me look stupid in front of these people. It's our first time hanging out with them. You know, they seem really cool. And now here we go. And it's like, so I'm sitting there at the table. I had a drink. I'm like, Melanie, keep it together, keep it together. And it's like everybody is talking at the table and I'm just hearing like, wah, 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 wah. And I'm just like, hold it together, hold it together. Finally, I had to tell Jason, I was like, you know, hey, I was trying to whisper. I was like, hey, I need to go like lay down. He got me up because at that point, I was really like seeing stars. So at that point, I walked out the restaurant and my legs gave out. Like my legs gave out in front of the restaurant in the street and I hit the pavement and I couldn't feel my legs. It was the worst thing ever. So then I ended up going to the back seat of my car. Jason went back in the restaurant with the couple and they was in there forever. So then I was like, again, I'm like high. I'm so high. Like it was just horrible. And, I texted him because obviously what comes with that is like super hunger. So I was so hungry. I texted him and I was like, could you please bring the food that I ordered to the back seat that I was sitting in? He, like 20 minutes later, he brought the food. He brought like a little doggy bag, like I was an animal, to the back seat. I was in the back seat eating like an animal, like, and it was so scary because it was like, I was really in a strange head space. Like nothing was making sense, but I was so hungry and I was like, okay, girl, get it together. Get out of this car, go back in the restaurant. But then it's like my mind wasn't working. I was trying to figure out how to get out the car. I couldn't figure that out, trying to figure out how to get to the restaurant. And literally, we parked across the street. So all I really had to do was open the door and go across the street. But it was the worst thing. Like that was how that's how we rang in the new year. So by the time I got home, I guess it started kind of like wearing off and I finally felt regular, but I was knocked out for the rest of the day. It was horrible. It was horrible. It was horrible. Like, I don't know if you ever experienced anything like that, but it was really, really, really bad.
No, I haven't experienced that. Hey, at least it wasn't fentanyl.
Oh my God! If it was fentanyl, I don't think I'd be here right now. I think that is horrible. Like, oh my God! And then I was off for like the whole first week in January, and I thought that I was gonna be like, being productive, new year, new me, doing all these things, and I got sick, and like literally all I did was like watch documentaries, and I was watching like the Michael Jackson documentary, like Danity Kane, like it was just, I had this vision of me being super duper productive. Like that was really one of the reasons why I took all my decorations down. Cause I said, you know what? I'm gonna be off for this whole first week in January. New year, new me, clean slate. And then boom, the first day that I'm off, sick like a dog, couldn't move. I mean, it was just like crazy. But they always say like, God laughs at your plans or whatever. So, it is what it is. You kind of got to roll with the flow,
Nothing doesn't always work out. Thieving, with no hiccups or whatever. Right. But we just keep rolling.
So how was your first week in January? Because we're coming up on the end of the first week.
First week was it was like because New Year's Day was Monday. Mm-hmm. So it was like the weekend, and we had the New Year. So just been adjusting. I see. Just trying to get into the groove of what I need to do. So I'm pacing myself. So even if we didn't have a first great week, it's a long year.
Absolutely.
It's a marathon, as Nipsey said. So.
Right. And see, people get into that whole, and I was people, like people get into that whole thing about, okay, January 1. That's when I'm going to be this whole new person. And then that's such a high bar. And it's like, when it doesn't work out, then you kind of like be like, you know what, forget it. I'll try again next year. But I feel like at my age, I feel like I'm at a certain maturity level to where I understand that I had this big plan for the first week in January. I understand that it did not go the way that, I wanted it to go. But what I also have come to understand is that every day could be like your first day. Like every day, like it doesn't have to be like the stroke of midnight on December 31st, you know? So I don't even really feel bad. Disappointed, you know, I had some different things I wanted to do with the podcast last week I couldn't do. Disappointed, but I feel like everything happens for a reason. And I think it's kind of like a maturity thing, and kind of understanding that like you can start fresh whenever you want to. You know what I'm saying? It does not have to be New Year's Eve. It's weird because I feel like the energy of like January 1 is so high, but I don't know if it's in a good way because people are setting themselves up for failure. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, like people, you'll see everybody in the gym that first week in January. And then by the end of January, the gym is back to being empty. You know what I'm saying? So I think you have to really kind of run at your own pace and like understand that like you can literally start whenever you want to, as long as you start. Now, you can't be like, okay, well, it didn't work out, so I'm going to try again in 364 days. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to kind of make sure that you every day, like every single day is an opportunity. And then just understanding that, you know, so many people did not make it to 2024. And there was something that happened in my family at the end of the year that was really like a horrible tragedy. And it really, really made me reevaluate like everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, not letting certain things get to me, not beating myself up because, you know, I didn't, you know, have a first week like I wanted to, you know, just like really understanding that, you know, every day is a gift. And I'm big on like romanticizing, trying to like romanticizing my life. So I know that you and I always talk about like having a theme of the new year or a word of the year. Do you have that for 2024? Do you have a theme or like a word of the year?
Now, when you was talking, I was just, you know, because we've been knowing each other for a long time. So, you know, back in the day, because your life sometimes is a journey and everybody goes through different things. And I can remember being younger and striving and thinking I was out of time. And now in middle age, it's like, so now motivation, even, you know, there's nothing wrong with having a theme for the year or a word for the year. But now at middle age, for me, it's like more so dealing with the consciousness.
What do you mean by that?
Well, working on consciousness, meaning having awareness, because in the sense of having grace for yourself,
grace,
because a lot goes on in our mind. Like, so if I'm comparing myself, if I'm beating myself up because I'm not here or there, so just being you know, more locked in to more aware of my thinking,
right,
and putting the pressure more so on changing my thinking than trying to predict or cram, say 2024, I'm gonna do all this.
Right.
Now I have an ultimate goal. But sometimes, as you say, you know, things happen and life happens. And I think that is the part that humbles me. Because
I like how that sounds, humbles.
Is that not the way you pronounce it?
I like how it sounded.
What you say?
Humbles.
We say humble?
You said humble or humble?
Oh, either one. Oh. But what I'm saying is like, in the big scope, the world's so big. I was at work and I told him, I gave him a quote that the world's big and everybody laughed. But the world is so big, and I'm one person in the world. So no matter who we compare ourselves to, we're our individual selves. And so just being, like you said, being in the consciousness of, you know, I'm alive, right. And more so the motivation is let me maximize every opportunity every day.
Exactly.
Through the ups and downs, because we're all human. That's what connects us. So that's where I'm kind of at. Yeah. But this year, I just want to improve on advocating for myself.
Ooh, like I love how that sounds. Advocate. I'm gonna have to steal that one. Advocating for yourself. And I feel like when I hear that, and this is probably not what you mean, you know, how I heard it, but a part of me hearing that, it feels like you have the right to be selfish for yourself, setting boundaries. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like so often we put ourselves not first. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like advocating for yourself, I love how that sounds. Like, what does that mean for you to advocate for yourself?
It's just like, I thought sometimes you go from day to day, year to year, whatever, and you're doing things, good things, but it doesn't come back to you in the way you just assume that. You assume that it's going to be taken care of or it's going to work out. And I need to advocate for myself because I need to put myself first. That's not to say I'm not going to help, but I need to be aware that you have to. I got a saying that I always say: the cavalry's not coming. I've heard that before. And I adopted it. So I've got to know that I've got to help myself. If I don't do it, how's
nobody
it going to be done?
Else is exactly.
So just be aware, or I'm saying for me, that's what it means. Just to kind of advocate. Sometimes you don't want to say no,
right?
But that's it. Seems like it's the right thing, but I found out it's the wrong thing,
right?
And then you want to blame people. Then you want to blame things. But you didn't say nothing. You didn't advocate for yourself. So I got to advocate for myself and believe in myself. When I say, and I used like, if you have negative people, if you have people around you that don't believe in you, then that's not what you need to be. You know, if no one else believes.
It's like you about to start preaching, honey. It's like you about to start preaching over here. Go ahead, sir.
If no one else believes, you know, I got to start believing in me. And so I got to advocate myself, start believing, start doing the things that will move me closer to my purpose, vision.
Closer to my dreams.
Yeah.
So, you know, one thing, here is I don't like normally, as you know this, like normally I have a sit down meeting with my sister-in-law every end of the year to discuss our plan of attack to like be these like new great people and to set our goals. Now we have not had that meeting yet, so I'm coming for you, Sharon. But I kind of had that meeting with myself so far, and I am in my delusional girl era. Have you heard that?
Is it the cousin to the soft era?
Ding, 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 ding. It is the cousin to the soft era. So I'm in my look. I know you hate. I know you hate the soft era. I know you hate it. I know you hate it. But when I tell you in 2024, I'm in my delusional girl era. If you get a second, y'all, go to TikTok and look, or maybe Instagram, but go to TikTok and put in delusional girl era. So for me, and honey, listen, let's not start doing a little therapy session on here, because you know how me and you do. But it's like, for so long, I've had like certain goals in life, and I'm gonna speak to those goals and what happened to those goals in episodes to come. But for so long, I've had like maybe 2 or 3 big goals that I wanted to achieve.
Right.
Fast forward to my age and my current situation and where I'm at in life now. And those goals that I fought so hard for, I don't want to say they have diminished, but they've just changed, right? Yes, it's one of those things where you feel like, okay, well, when this happens in my life, everything is going to be great. So when I reach this goal, like for example, let's just say for shits and giggles, when I buy this house, when I like save up enough money and I buy a home, that's my big goal, and everything's going to be good and I can just go from there, right? But what I have learned is that with every level comes something different. And you can picture something in your head and maybe want it so bad. And then when you get it, it doesn't turn out being what you thought it was going to be. So imagine having goals or dreams or like a certain desires for your life and having that for so many years. You get a version of that. And, you know, at the end of the day, let's keep it real. You know, when you kind of hit 40 or whatever, listen, I never tell my age on this show, so don't even start. But at the end of the day, when you hit a certain age and you look around, you like, okay, like I'm really at a, like where I thought I was going to be at my age and where I am at are two drastic different places. So now I got to kind of regroup, right? So for me, I've had to come to the realization that this certain life that I wanted is, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer and say I'm not going to get it, because I know I'm going to get it. But again, with growth, with age comes maturity and comes wisdom. And I have to understand that I'm going to get it the way God wants me to get it, not the way I want to get it. And the maturity of that is understanding that that is what I should desire. Like all my life, one of the scariest things I used to be afraid to say is, Lord, let your will be, because I know what I wanted. And I was so afraid that what I wanted wasn't what God's will was for me. And again, grew up in the church. So I know that I should only want what God wants for me because he only wants the best for me. But even knowing that, I was still always nervous to be like, Lord, just let your will be done. I was always so scared to say, Lord, let your will be done, because I was nervous that his will wasn't going to be what I wanted. But what happens is, if there's a lesson that you have to learn, you're going to learn it. You're going to learn it whether or not you want to learn it or not. So for me, God loves me. Like, God is your father. God treats you like your father would. And so he wants you to learn and grow. So he sees me and he's like, okay, well, Melanie, she wants this certain thing or this certain life, but she might want it in this package, but this package right here is better for her. But I'm going to let her go ahead and go through this lesson so she'll understand that I need to yearn for what God, what he wants for me. And so I feel like I'm at a space now to where I have spent 10 plus years designing how I thought my life was going to work out and that was kind of immature Melanie. But now life has lifed, and now I understand, okay, girl, like whatever it is going, it is what it is. Like, you got to just trust God, do right, pray, still have your desires. Like, I still have those same goals and desires, but I'm not focused as much on the desire as I'm focused on God's will, right? So like, I'm more focused on God, I want this certain thing. I want this so bad. But if you think this isn't what I should have, or if you, have something better for me, I trust you, right? And I've never really been in that space because I always thought that I know what I want. I've written it down. I have written it down so many times. List. Like, this is the kind of man I want. This is the kind of house I want. I want this many kids. I want to make this much money, blah, 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 blah. And that's my plan. That's not God's plan. I feel like we're kind of going off. I don't want to take us to church or whatever, but it's just so important that people understand because one of the things that like I'm doing this year in season 2 of my podcast, like it came to me today and I'm like, you know what? People always say when you have a podcast or a platform, you need to find your certain niche. And I was like, what is my niche? Like, I feel like I know so much. Like, I know I can play the violin. I could curse out somebody out. I could go to church, all these different things. But like, what do I do? But I realized today that I have made so many mistakes and I have done so many things to me in the wrong way with the wrong thought process. And so I want to be as transparent as I can be. So hopefully somebody will listen to what I got to say. And maybe you won't be 35 plus just now coming to that realization. Maybe if you hear my story and what I did, some of the wrong turns that I made, it'll kind of open your eyes to like maybe making different decisions, if that makes sense.
Definitely.
Does that make sense?
That's what we need. Right. That's I mean, if especially somebody younger, or even older, like some of my best friends are in the 60s. When my other friend is like 78. But I always try. These are people I've known for a while. But I always try to talk and say, "Hey, what you think about this?" Try to
Right.
learn. Like it to them, they're like, "Oh, you're young," and then to me, I'm like, you know what I'm
Am I
saying?
young? I don't
But then,
know.
but then to my younger family, that's like 13, 20, I'm like, "Whoa, y'all young," and so we're going to think different at every
Right.
stage. You know what I'm saying? Just the other day, we were eating wings at Alley's.
You
You
love
feel
to bring
me?
that. You love that. Is that your favorite memory? Because you always bring the wings up from Alex.
Just saying, it's a time stamp.
Yo, wow.
And
We were so young, wild, and free. Child. I was working at Walmart on my college break.
but think
Ugh.
about it. Think about it. Like you not everybody when you're young. There's a template for all young people. There's a success template. Like, and if you don't fit in that success template, then where do you go?
Right.
So you spend your young life chasing that carrot, and everybody doesn't get that carrot.
Right.
So it's almost like you have to really slow down and go inward and kind of find out who you are because your path could be different.
Now, when you say everybody don't
And
get that carrot, what do you mean by that?
everybody don't get the same blessing. So here it is. This is what I'm saying. Okay. So you could grow up, you're young, 10, 15, whatever. Some people have the brains to be a brain surgeon. Some people have the desire to be a cardiologist or whatever. And so when you're programmed to say that's the only thing that's success, then you may not go with what your gifts are.
Right.
Like what you're truly passionate about.
Right.
So now we're learning, like you said. Now you've gone through life and you understand more about success. So you could your success or your path could be a lot of things, but you just have to be open to it.
Right.
So now we understand that. So now we don't have to put pressure on people to be something that they're not.
Yeah, that really hits home with me because, when I look back over my life, that sounds so scary. And I think things are like, listen, when I look back over my life and I look at some of the decisions I made, I feel like everybody probably has this. I know for sure most people have this. And there's certain times in my life, pivotal moments. There's certain pivotal moments, right? One pivotal moment is my first marriage, right? Like next pivotal moment is like certain career choices I made or even my major in college, different things like that. Those are pivotal moments where, are you making decisions and choices based on what other people want for you? Or are you really do you have a mentor? Are you really being intentional, which was my word for 2023? Are you really being intentional about the choices you make? Now, even if you are being intentional, that's not foolproof. Like I can be intentional all day and be like, okay, I prayed, I talked to whoever and I made this decision, and it could still be a bad decision, but it's just a certain level of maturity trying to understand the lesson in the circumstance, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like that truly, truly takes maturity because I know for sure there's no way I'm thinking back into my late 20s, early 30s when I was going through just different things. And I know for sure that my thought process would have never been, okay, Melanie, well, maybe this isn't for you, or, just think this way. Like my maturity wasn't at that level yet. You know what I'm saying? And some people might have that certain maturity at that age, but you have to really just, I guess, you have to just let life, but let life in the smartest way that you can,
And I don't know if you've heard this quote, no loss is just lessons. So I want to give you your flowers because you made a decision. And I think in hindsight, it's easy for us to have certain regrets. Of course, we could have improved on different things, but some of the things you did with the knowledge that you had and the level of mentality that you had at the time. So in a lot of ways, me knowing you, you made a lot of decisions with good intentions.
Did I though?
Whether they panned out
right.
the way that you did, but because you went that way, you picked up a lot of tools, a lot of insights that you would not have had.
Yeah.
And I think now, hindsight, I was like, okay, it's really more about faith than fear. Meaning, when I was younger, and even sometimes now, I'm more focused on what I'm fearful of than what I'm believing for.
Right.
And so sometimes if I'm like, if I would focus more on what I want and go after it, then whatever happens, no losses, just lessons. But at least I'm going in the direction of my true desires.
Correct.
So I have to give you flowers, because I think that's what you've done in your life. You know, whether it was like college or whether it was just going forward.
Yeah.
And then along the way, you learn lessons that you're going to apply now.
Hard
and even
lessons.
more powerful.
Yeah.
Even more powerful, you're going to hand that to the next generation.
Absolutely. That's
no
major.
Losses.
Absolutely. And you said no losses, just lessons.
That's what I said.
Okay, boom.
That's what I didn't.
That literally might be the title of this podcast. No losses, just lessons in 2024, because that's super duper powerful. Yeah. I am in my delusional girl era. Delusional girl era is just basically like no matter.
I gotta look that up.
Yeah, look.
What is that exactly? Because the soft girl era.
I know you hate it.
Lady told me.
What did she tell you? What did she tell you?
She said, "I'm in my soft. What was it? Soft girl era, or what is it? Soft lady?
Soft girl era."
Yeah, and then she was like, I'm living softly, and then I guess that don't mean she don't want to pour her own Kool-Aid. I get it. So what
you ain't drinking Kool-Aid in your soft girl era, child. You drinking no Kool-Aid. So like,
what's the
delusional girl is like soft girl cousin, like you said. Like, so delusional is like, okay, it's almost like a manifestation girl, like, but different. So like, delusional is, I know that this podcast is going to be number 1 by the end of the year. I know, like, I'm not worried. I am not concerned. I don't have any stress. I know that life is going to work out for me. I know that everything is working out for my good. I have no worry. I have no stress. If something doesn't go my way, that is totally fine. I'm delusional about it. That's how it was supposed to go. Like, I know for sure that I'm going to be, in my beach body ready for summer. I'm delusional about it. I know for sure I'll be there. I'm delusional in the best way possible. Like, I'm not stressing about anything because I know that everything is working out perfectly. Okay. My life is great. Nothing is wrong. I have a great relationship. Me and my teenager are doing great. Me and my mama doing good. Me and my brother, like, everything is just great. Yeah, I'm okay. Everything is great.
I like that.
At work, these people who be stressing me out at work, nope. I'm not even worried because you know what? Everything is great. I love my job. I love the people at my job. I know that I'm going to be promoted at the end of the year. Like, I don't have no worries, no stress. I'm delusional. And I'm going to be, that is my vibe and that's my energy for 2024. And that's what the delusional girl era is. So make sure you look it up for yourself. Look it up for yourself.
Yeah,
and in that delusion, I'm living a soft life. I'm very feminine. Like I'm very soft. I don't know. Don't ask me because I don't know. I can't lift that. I don't know this math equation. I'm just living a soft girl life. I have no idea. Shit gonna work out for me. My bank account is full. Like, listen, I can go on and on. Like, I am not letting nothing. I'm not letting this shit that typically stress me in 2024. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's why I asked definitions, because the delusional sounded crazy, but no, it's really you can put that with being intentional. Replace delusional with being faith, belief, all that kind of stuff. Now,
I'm delusional.
The soft girl thing. Mm-hmm. The soft girl thing. Explain that to me.
Soft girl. So, and again, I'm nervous to explain it because I know that you hate it when the lady said this to you. But
I don't hate it. No, I just need to get it the way I interpret it.
Soft girl. So I live a life of convenience, right? So like for me, soft girl era, I'm making sure I have my nails done. I'm going to get my massage. I'm not, stressing about like finances. I live a life of luxury. Okay. I'm not dating or being with anybody who can't give me the life that I desire. So if that life is okay, if we have kids, then I want a nanny, or I don't even want to work. I want to live a life of leisure. I want to live a life where my partner is the leader. He pays all the bills. I'm a stay-at-home mom, or even if I ain't got no kids, like I'm just, you give me the money, I'm going to handle, I keep a happy home. It's just very, to me, soft life is just very feminine, just very dainty, feminine, not stressing. For me, I feel like a soft life type woman would need a strong male who can lead and be a provider.
Gotcha.
Those two words resonate with me: a leader and a provider, and somebody who is not bringing stress to your life.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Okay.
I think the best thing for you to do is to go on TikTok and just put in soft life, and it'll tell you, or even Instagram again, like it's a big movement, and it's a big movement right now for Black women. And I love that for us, because I feel like when you think of soft life, typically you think of like white women, just to be honest. Like that was a whole white woman thing. White women, I heard this story where like white women are trained to go to college to find their spouse, whereas Black women go to college to find a career and be these bosses and stuff like that. And I am happy for Black women who are embracing a soft life, a life of luxury, a life of convenience, getting that maid. I'm not cleaning this house. I am not cleaning this house. I'm gonna have a maid clean my house. Like just doing things that make your life soft. No stress. No strong Black woman. I'm not strong. I'm not strong. Do not call me strong. Do not call me alpha. Do not tell me I have no masculine energy. I am a soft woman. And I want to look to my man to make the decisions. I want to look to my man to be able to like lead me and lead our household and lead our family in a soft, and I feel this, in a soft life energy and life. I don't want to hear about what's stressing my man. I don't want to and that sounds bad. If you lack in any area, especially financially, I don't need to hear that. I don't need to hear that. You handle it. Like, to me, don't bring that to me. And I'm talking about like, maybe like marriage type situations, like handle it. Don't bring that to me. You handle it as the head of your household, as the leader. Don't bring me stuff like that, because what good is both of us worrying if you don't have the money to fix the car or to take us to this restaurant, whatever? Maybe get a little side gig. You know what I'm saying? Like to me, and that's just my interpretation. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just want to live a soft life. And that's something that's so important to me. Like, I desire a soft life. I desire a life to where my brain isn't the brain of the operations. Like, and I think most women want that. And I don't understand why it's so hard for men to understand that, because I feel like men are and should be leaders. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like you should be equipped to lead. And if you aren't equipped to lead, don't attach yourself to anybody, and do the healing or the classes or whatever, or, whatever you have to do to be a man that will be a helpmate to a woman, that'll be a leader and a provider to a woman in a family.
Okay. I get it. And it's not wrong, soft life. I just have to get these definitions, and I think it's a conversation that you have to have so that you come to some type of agreement. Right.
So I'm gonna make you some flashcards, because I feel like some of the terms in 2023, 2024, you might not know.
Yeah.
You act like you're so old. You're not that old, so I don't understand how you don't understand. But it's what it is. So let's moving on swiftly and professionally. We forgot about a mental health check-in, but that's fine. So 2 things I want to talk about. The first thing is, on New Year's Eve, it was all over Instagram about a church in Atlanta that was swag surfing at the stroke of midnight. And people had a lot to say about the church swag surfing. When I saw that on the news and on the feed on my timeline, that made me want to go to church. That made me want to like push to find a church in my area that matched my fly. Like that made me want to be in church on New Year's Eve. So I don't understand why that was getting so much backlash. Like now the only thing I can say is that the words to the song, you know, they're not like the most wholesome words. But I mean, people who are in church need to stop acting like their shit don't stink. And when you have that kind of mentality, when you're in the church, all you're doing is making people who might want to come to the church not come to the church. Like I've had that issue before. Like there was a period in my life where I'm like, you know what, man, I don't even want to go to church because like people are in church are so judgmental. And to me, the church should be the number one place that you go to and not be judged. You know what I'm saying? So I truly, when I looked at that clip, the church was full. So if people weren't like held at gunpoint and had to be at the church, they chose to not go to no club, but to be in the church at midnight. So it's like, people ain't dumb. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, people are not stupid. Because I'm a Christian, don't mean that I don't listen to secular music. Because I'm a Christian, don't mean that, like, I don't hear it or I don't bop to it. You know what I'm saying? And if I do listen to it, in my opinion, it don't make me less of a Christian because I want to swag surf. That's ridiculous. Like, I know you're heavy in the church, so, like, what are your thoughts about it?
Heavy in the church. So I think looking at it, I think like you said, the people were there. You know, they chose to be there. The church was full. I think the issue came more so with playing the full record, which has some controversial lyrics or whatever. Yeah. So I think the intent to connect with that age group, I think that was the aim, which they reached at. So it was just a matter of getting a clean version or just playing a chorus. Because I think, is swag surfing and walk it out the same thing? Or is that two different things?
Two different things.
Okay. Or walk it out.
Or walk it out. Walk it out. And swag surfing is swag.
That's a chorus, and then swag surfing is the dance. So I think that might have been more the issue, just like the lyrical content of the real record. But you could probably do the chorus on each record and kind of, still connect with the youth or the young culture. So, like you said, people who are more, I guess, fundamental, or they had an issue with it. But I think the issue was like just the record.
But even this, so like,
I get it. Connected, I get it that, connected with the youth and, maybe even our age group or my age group. But so I guess the problem came in with the actual record. So
yeah, because you in a whole different age bracket than me whenever you use the word record. So
yeah, so you could clean the record up. You could clean that up just by
track.
Just doing the chorus, which has no it has no bad stuff in it. The actual verses has the stuff that you would play in the club.
And that's totally understandable. But I guess for my and like what you said, I agree with everything that you said. But I also feel like, and I would have to look up the words to the song to like, oh yeah, I'm on Patron. Yeah, so yeah, they're talking about being drunk and high and stuff like that. So I can understand that.
And so
that
you can imagine if you playing the lyrics, then somebody who didn't choose to go to the club, and they're like, oh, but if you play, because a lot of the contemporary gospel music or Christian music, whatever, it parallels to other music genres. So you take out those verses and just play the music, and you can still, now you can't stop what somebody, if they know the record, they may be saying it to themselves, but you're not playing the verses.
Yeah, I'm looking at
that was, but I'm not going to beat them over the head.
Yeah.
You try, and it's a critique, and next time, hopefully, if they want to clean up the lyrics or take the lyrics or just have the band play the instrumental or do something.
Yeah, I agree with you, because I was looking at the words just now, and it is a little bit of like, again, a person like me, listen, I'm going to drink. I'm going to always drink, and it is what it is. But and I'll be in church on Sunday. But at the end of the day, like, I could understand, like, there's nothing wrong at all what you said, and I feel like the common ground in that situation would be for them to play it on the organ, or just play the instrumental, or just even play the a hook to the song that's not talking about Patron and Hypnotic and stuff like that. So it probably was a poor, like, judgment call on the pastor to play the full version, but I think there could have been a way that everybody could be happy,
Yeah, because he was connected with the walking out, like how you're going to have to walk out your plans, your goals. You're going to have to walk it out, and then the swag surfing was just like a vibe, like something that you might do when you're exercising, or just something to get your height. You know what I'm saying? You don't swag surf when you exercise?
No, I do not. But I do feel like I don't know. To me, I don't see nothing wrong with it, but I understand what you're saying, and there could have been a happy medium. Yeah, I definitely see both sides. But I just want, in 2024, I just want people to understand that because you're a Christian, it don't mean that you're not going to swag surf. It don't mean that you're not going to have Patron on Saturday night. It don't mean that you're not going to have Hypnotic on Saturday night. Like, I feel like, what has always bothered me, and again, I have been in the church all my life, but what has always bothered me about the church is the judgmental side, because you're judging somebody for playing swag surf and talking about drinking Patron, but you cheating on your wife, or you're beating your wife, or beating your husband, or all, talking about people behind their back, not paying your tithes. Everything is equal. So unless you're God and you're perfect, like, to me, sit down. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't knock anything that the church is doing when it comes to something like that. And people was just happy, and they were rejoicing, and and it was just like a little thing, and so it shouldn't have been such a big deal to me.
Yeah.
Does your church swag surf?
Definitely not. Yeah, we're not swag surfing, but
it's swag. And let me say this. Swag surfing is it is like, it's something that is in a lot of weddings. Like, swag surfing is like it's like Luther Voice and Sing to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's certain things that in the Black culture, like Before I Let Go, like, that everybody hear that song, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's certain things in Black culture that is Black culture, and when you hear it, you know what it is. And I feel like, to me, swag surfing is one of those things.
Yeah, and especially if the demographic is younger, they're going to connect. Like,
right.
But I deal with all age groups from 15 to 85. So more so as the older group, I barely know what the swag surfing is. So I know they don't know. Yeah. So I'm connected with them with the hymns. You see, they are the hymns. So, which is a staple, you know what I'm saying? So I get it. He has a younger audience, so that was his motivation. But I can also see where playing the actual verses probably kind of
that was a bit
contradicted the situation. That's an easy fix.
It's an easy fix.
Take them verses out, play the chorus, and we all good.
Because now there's been a lot of times in my church life where I have heard organists play like, not sing or not say, but I've heard them play like secular music, just in randomly, but But if you don't know the song, then you don't know what they're playing.
Imagine.
Yeah. So
imagine, like, if you're a younger musician, but if it's older people, they don't know the records. They don't know what you're playing. But as a younger person, be like, hey, wait a minute. He's over there playing this. Yeah, so.
And to me, like, if it's a conduit to allow, like, someone who maybe wasn't even checking for church or going to church, and they hear and they see this, and they're like, okay, let me go to church on Sunday and see what this is about, because maybe it's not what I think, you know what I'm saying? And then, so to me, going to church should always be about saving souls and getting as many people as you can in the house and trying to talk to people. And to me, if it's any opportunity that you can do that, again, the lyrics are kind of, iffy, but I get where he was going with it.
I give him, like, I see the intent, because to your point, just like in life, we have to adapt, not necessarily compromise your beliefs or your integrity. But, I talk to my nieces, like, I can't give them a pager.
No.
I can't, buy them, for Christmas, a telephone, what they call it, telephone booth we used to go in, or I used to go in. So the principle is the same, but how you connect with people may be different.
Right.
And I think that's what he was doing, and the only critique was, you have to kind of, what's the word? Tailor it more, like we said, take the verses out or whatever.
Find a happy medium.
You can put instrumental. You can have the band play it, because his focus was, especially with the Walking Out, was like, look, they have these lyrics in this secular song, but this is exactly what you're going to have to do to fight through this year. So I see what he was trying to do.
So I'm going to close the show out with this topic. Everybody heard around the world the interview with Cat Williams and Shay, whatever you call himself. Now,
Shannon Sharpe.
Okay, look at you doing your notes. Okay, that was such a great interview. There are so many lanes of discussion that you can go down when it came to that conversation. I don't think that Cat Williams was lying. Now, it's so many different things I want to say. So I do not think that Cat Williams was like lying. I do think that you said Shannon Williams is his name?
I definitely didn't say Williams. Sharpe?
Sorry. Oh my God. Look at this.
Williams.
Shannon, where I get Williams from? So black. Okay. So like Shannon Sharpe, where the hell I get Williams from? Shannon Sharpe, I feel like he missed an opportunity. And listen, they come for me in the YouTube comments all the time. What you talking about? We don't know what you're talking about. Whatever. I don't care. Watch my video, subscribe. But at the end of the day, when you have somebody like Cat Williams sitting across from you, there is a certain level of, expertise or skill set that I want you to be able to have have certain, follow-up questions, right? So like, I feel like, Nah, man, I feel like he really missed the opportunity to have appropriate follow-up questions with what Cat Williams was saying. There were so many opportunities for Shannon to dig deeper into what he was saying, but it felt like Cat Williams came to the show and it became the Cat Williams podcast, and Shannon was just sitting there listening. And I feel like people always like talk about, okay, everybody got a podcast, but I feel like, I don't know, I think that Shannon missed his opportunity to get more out of Cat Williams and to get more understanding out of some of the answers that he gave. I do believe that he was telling the truth. And I believe that based on the responses from some of the people that he was talking about. So if you look at it, you've heard a response from Kevin. You've heard a response from Cedric. You've heard a response from Faison. Like, everybody has responded kind of belittling Cat Williams, but they're not really responding saying that he's lying. Like, I haven't heard people really come out and say that is a lie. Now, Cedric the Entertainer did say, that he did not copy his joke. But I feel like people seem pressed. People seem like, oh shit, he told my truth and now I gotta come and like cover it. I don't know. I had a different level. I had a higher level of respect for Cat Williams after that interview. I thoroughly enjoyed it. What about you?
So, I didn't go to school for journalism, but some of the critiques were opposite of what you said. They were like, by him not talking, he allowed Kat to get a lot of things out. So I think that's what made the interview iconic, because Shannon deferred and allowed it to organically go, because he was positioned, he had the questions, and when we saw him, which he's great at that, he does the research. He'll ask different questions, which prompted Kat, and Kat even gave him, said, "You're the best, you're the best." So I can see both sides. Like you said, he could have went deeper, but I think when it started to go left in a iconic way, Shannon kind of just rolled with it, and I think that's what made it iconic. And then now, after the fact, he's able to break down, in different interviews of he's doing post interviews about like each segment. So it's it was something that they say like broke the internet.
They broke the internet for sure. That's all I saw on my timeline. I mean, that's all I'm still seeing. That interview was last week. And I'm still seeing it on my timeline. And I just like this, right? Like, I ain't gonna lie. I sent Cat Williams a DM. And he gonna be in Charlotte in January. Well, I think on the 25th, he gonna be in Charlotte. So I sent him a message. And Cat Williams, if you hear this podcast, and in my delusional girl era, I know you will. When you hear this podcast, please respond to my DM. I will host you in my home. I will cook you dinner. Just come on and be on the podcast. I would love to have you, but I don't know. I just really love the interview. So some of the things that he said that Kevin Hart was an industry plant. He said that you got to tell Diddy no. Now, I'm sorry. Everything that he said, it made sense. Like, it made sense. Like, it made me think, okay, well, where the hell did Kevin Hart come from? And Kevin Hart had a response to it, kind of like a joking response, but he never denied it. Like, to me, I get it. No answer sometimes is the best answer, but something in my spirit telling me that Cat Williams said, you know what? It is what it is. I'm telling all. I have nothing to lose. And I feel like he did. It just really made me think, you gotta like not judge a book by its cover. I feel like when you see Cat Williams, you see how he dressed, you see how he carried himself, his hair and stuff like that, the braids, whatever, and you might judge him. Like, I feel like everybody was talking about how he said that he read like 3,000 books or something like that, like in a year or whatever. And people were like, oh, wow, he read, you know what I'm saying? Like, people was like astonished that he read that. Now, do I believe that? I don't know. I don't not believe it, but I wouldn't be surprised if that was like an exaggeration. But that made me go and like research him and look at all his old comedy shows and like look at all his old interviews and really look at how smart and how intelligent and how amazing storyteller this man is, and how he rides for Black women and like the Black culture, and how he rides for the people at the bottom. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like he's somebody who started from humble beginnings, and I don't feel like he let the industry change him. Now, here's the scary part. Here's the scary Melanie P part. The whole time listening to that interview, when he was talking about Ricky Smiley, I thought he was talking about Tavis. Is it Tavis Smiley? Is that like a person, right? Tavis Smiley is a person, right? Is that a reporter?
Yeah.
The whole time, from back in the day. So the whole entire time he's talking about Ricky Smiley, I'm thinking he's talking about Tavis Smiley. And I was like, when did Tavis Smiley become a comedian?
Shout out to Tavis Smiley. I mean, I say back in the day because we remember, in the 90s and everything, but he's still relevant today. Mm-hmm. No, Ricky Smiley, the comedian.
Yeah.
And
who just lost his son, which is sad.
Yeah, so the interview showed the mastery of Cat Williams. Like, it was a comedy. We got a free comedy special.
Right.
And I think it doesn't, it was a 12 round fight. And he took a lot of shots at different people and said his piece. So, but for me, when you think about it, think through it, it doesn't mean that we have to stop liking those other guys. Sure. And those were just the hot takes. He said a lot of other gems. It was one that I noticed where he said, if we focused on every day like it could be your last day, and if we treated it like that, he was like, it'll take your life to a whole different level. So there was a lot of hot takes, but it was a lot of substance
A
that
lot
was
of
just
substance.
that can be used by anybody. You know, he has his personal things with different people, and they'll work that out. But you know, it was just a masterclass, and so and that was partly Shannon being able to get in certain times and steer it a certain way. But Cat Williams, I think it was genius. He's on tour. Not to say he did it for that, but it just shows you the power of the internet and how Cat Williams, if he's coming through your town, he's coming near, you're gonna go if you can go. But now,
Hopefully coming to my house.
yeah, but now you're like, it's even more interest to go to
Yeah.
the show.
Yeah.
And the whole independent thing that he does, you know, he really on that tip, he represents so many who you did the right thing, you went
Right.
to college, you work hard, but you're not getting the looks that you feel like you should get, and he represents that independent, doing it yourself, you know, putting yourself in position. So that was positive. So, you know, happy 2024. Here we go.
You know what's crazy? I ain't gonna lie. When he said that he's never done a drug in his life, I don't know if I believe that. Like, I feel like he said he never did drugs. I don't know about that. Like, I feel like 95% of what he was saying was true.
Yeah.
I feel like
Okay,
there was a little bit of exaggeration, and also him saying that he left home at 14 and like that, you know, some of that stuff seemed real, like again, like to me, if you had a really good host like in Shannon, I feel like I would have been asking more questions, you know what I'm saying? I almost got the sense, and I have not watched a lot of Shannon's podcast. I'm going to now, and again, smart on his part. I actually subscribed to his shit because I thought, wow, that's really good. But I feel like we could have gotten so much more out of it if he would have just asked a little bit more follow-up questions. Because how you leave at 14 and then become a pimp, and then, you know what I'm saying? Like give me more of that story. I feel like Cat Williams came in and really, like, I feel like Cat Williams is very, very intelligent. I feel like he is a very, very intelligent Black king. And I feel like he seized the moment and seized opportunity. And just to his defense as well, a lot of what he was saying was in response to what some of the other people have said against him. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. So the whole 13, like if you ever been through, you know, if you've had that type of childhood where it's chaos, I remember even Tony Robbins, Anthony Robbins, he was talking about how you wouldn't believe his childhood based on what he's become. So even though it's extreme, leaving at 13, sometimes it's like that. But overall, it was a great interview. People are going to come out. They're going to come out to the show. It's a conversation. And he's he's a comic. He's like a comic. So what I wanted to say also was that Ice Cube did a video and confirmed what Ricky said. So that's the thing. Cat is like so smart that it's almost like how somebody, when you're not smart, somebody can talk you out of your position.
Absolutely.
Like somebody can say something, and now if you'd have just rolled or responded the right way, but then because the person said something about you, now you went off or whatever. So I guess Cat positioned everything to give people enough rope to hang themselves, but it is what it is. I mean, he said a lot of things about a lot of people. I think Ricky did a great, like, the way he responded, because I think it's an energy thing. And so like if you say something that's not true, how am I going to respond? If it is true, how am I going to respond?
That's a good point. because if somebody said if somebody was out, because I know my podcast gonna be number one, like it's gonna be the number one podcast. So like Delusional Girl Era. So if somebody was out here spreading rumors about me, I actually would not respond. I feel like sometimes the worst thing you can do is respond. Like to me, if you respond, you're giving it life. You know what I'm saying?
Or respond, and it's material. You know, they're all comedians, so it could be this could be a great thing where, you know, it's all about. I remember a story. The guy who did the song "Riding Dirty."
Flo Rida.
No,
they see me rolling. They hate
that's
it.
Charlie Millionaire, something like that.
No, that's Flo Rida.
No, Riding Dirty. Anyway, he said 50 Cent said something to him, said something about him, like what do they call it? Roasting, not roasting. I forgot the term now. But anyway,
Shonen.
They were yeah. He said something like he was saying something like it was like kind of bad about him, whatever. And so he thought him and 50 were cool. Then when he saw 50, he was like, "What's up?" 50 put him in the room. Was like, "Yo, I gave you an alley hoop, you know, alley oop. If you would have just said something back, then your name would have been around the world." Yeah. So with Cat throwing everybody an alley oop, it's a big conversation that you can talk about. I think my man Trick Daddy just responded to Cat.
Oh, I saw that. That's scary. Trick Daddy scared me. I'm scared of him.
So it's just gonna be it's just material. It's just material.
Trick Daddy, I am afraid of Trick Daddy. Like if I like. Yo, I would be like, there's certain people that I would be afraid to be like, I'd be scared to be alone, like in a room alone with. And Michael Jackson is one. Trick Daddy is another person. Like he made me, he scared me. He scares me.
But that's what I'm saying. You can't. Don't take none of this personal. Use it to your advantage, and keep it moving. Because the clever thing that Kat said, he was like as hard as he was going. Shannon asked him questions like, "This is just competition. I'm not saying I don't want these guys to be successful or whatever." He was like, "This is competition." He may feel stronger about certain things about certain people, but he said in the interview that this is competition. So he's a competitive guy. So it was a great interview.
Absolutely. You are absolutely right. It was wild, man. Before I close, that thing he was saying about Diddy, man, like I know I got a little bit of backlash on my Diddy comments.
What'd you say about?
I said, you know, I hate to say it again. Listen, I hate to say it again in 2024. But one thing about me in 2024, in my Delusional Girl era, in my new, like, whatever, I'm saying whatever I want to say, whether right or wrong, and I'm sticking with it. I felt like Cassie could have left if she wanted to. I feel like at the end of the day, I feel like if you was in that same position and you was like, okay, can I have my life, like money, fame, going to the Met Gala, doing all this, like I can't say that I would just stay there, that I would leave. Like I feel like I would stay there to get what I wanted. You know what I'm saying? Like, and again, I feel very bad to say that because I've never been a victim of like kidnapping or like domestic violence. So, you know, I feel bad to say that, but I'm just keeping it a motherfucking buck. And I feel like if I had opportunity to be, you know, not kidnapped, but just be with P. Diddy for a couple of years and get my money stacked up to get some fame, to get some whatever, like I'm gonna do it. Period. Like you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. So, but as it relates to P. Diddy, it was just so ironic that Cat Williams brought up P. Diddy. Like everything that has been said about P. Diddy has been validation. And it's just like, it's going to be a saving P. Diddy story. And I just hate that. Like I'm such a black man, black power type girl. You know what I'm saying? Like I love black men, black kings. And I just hate to see them in certain situations. You know what I'm saying? Even though R. Kelly did what he did, it makes me so sad thinking about that talented man in jail. He's such a talented Man, I would either even venture to say that he's a genius, when it comes to the music and
Definitely.
stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, this man, here's the thing that people don't talk about. It makes me so angry. I'm not saying this is an excuse, but there's certain people, maybe all of us have had different situations that happened to us in our childhood that have made us who we are as adults, right? So like, being transparent, I don't care, I'm grown. I saw my mom carry the role of kind of like a leader in her household. And as I got older, I said that I never wanted to be a leader in my household. That's why I believe so strong in being submissive and having a man lead. Not saying my dad did lead. He was he was a perfect specimen. Perfect specimen. But the role that my mom played, I feel like I did not want to play that role, but I'm playing that role now. It's a whole nother topic. But what I'm saying is, we are all victims, and maybe that's the wrong word, of our childhood. We're all like a product of our childhood, and it doesn't make what you do right or wrong. But R. Kelly was molested. R. Kelly had a lot of horrible things happen to him as a child, and it does not make what he did right. But all of these parents who was dropping their kids off with R. Kelly because they know he had money and they knew that their child might have an opportunity. I'm sorry, like, they should be held to a certain standard too. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of those victims on that show, the parents dropped them off. The parents dropped them off to R. Kelly because they wanted their child to like Aaliyah. You know what I'm saying? The other lady, like, the parents took them to him. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I need to Google when he getting out of prison because it bothers me. Now again, I have two daughters, and I would hate for my daughters to be in that situation. But never say, one thing I learned you never say never. But I would hope that my kids would be like, close enough to me to like come to me if they had different situations happening. But I just hate it.
So you connecting that to Diddy.
I 100% connect that to Diddy. 100%.
So what's your
100%.
final? What's your?
Not too closing the
So what,
conversation out.
what are you saying? I'm trying to get your. You said you had some backlash about what you were saying about Diddy,
I
and what you're
said,
saying. You're saying you'll stay with Diddy to get the benefits.
yeah. In my previous episode, I had made a comment that Cassie could have left. You know what I'm saying? Like, if she really wanted to leave, she could have left. You know what I'm saying? And if you're in that position to where you have an opportunity to be with a celebrity, whether it's R. Kelly, whether it's P. Diddy, whether it's Jay-Z, whether it's Nas, whoever, people are going to monopolize on their opportunity because they know it's an opportunity. Now, what happens while you're in that opportunity, I don't know. I don't have no thoughts with that. But, a lot of these parents push their kids to R. Kelly. With Diddy, he got with Cassie. And, he even with Young Miami, you know what I'm saying? All these different women he got with, I'm sure they were lured to him because he had a certain status, because he had money, because he had stability, because they were able to lead a soft life. Every bitch want a soft life. 9.9 out of 10 times a woman wants to lead a soft life. No woman wants to be the brains of the operation. No woman wants to be the breadwinner. No woman wants to be like, you know what I'm saying? Like, every woman desires just to rest in her feminine energy. And if you see an opportunity to where you got a rich millionaire who's telling you to come on and I'll pay for your rent, pay for your mortgage, I'll buy you all the shoes, take you to all the award shows. I mean, come on. Like, you have a choice to be like, okay, well, no or yes. Choices, man. Choices and wisdom. I listen. Choices and wisdom.
So it goes back to the top of the conversation about the new year. And you said about the trauma that we all have and everything. So the things we go through. So now, as I've gotten, I guess, older, is focusing on those issues, and because no matter what made you make the choice, like me personally, putting it back on my life, I can't always use that as a crutch. So I've got to be vulnerable,
right,
and kind of assess what's going on. And I mean, if it's a lot of things going on, a lot of people, a lot of allegations. No, I mean, we don't see all the evidence or whatever. But Minister Louis Farrakhan had a famous quote where he said, "When you see a man fall, don't laugh. Don't laugh. Learn."
Bing, bing, ding, ding, ding.
So what with everything going on, it's just making me just kind of see, like you said earlier, it's not easy. Like the success that we're going after, the life that we're going after, and the life that we see people have. We don't know all that comes with it, and then how hard it is to maintain it, how hard it is to stay grounded. So that would be my wish for myself, for you, your listening audience in 2024, that everybody can kind of reach their goals and do the self-care and reflection, and and that we all come out on top. Blessings.
Absolutely. So Hamilton, I am so grateful that you came on the show today. We skipped over our mental health check-in. Give me a 60-second of your mental health check-in, please. How are you feeling mentally? How are you feeling mentally?
Feeling good. It's it's an everyday thing. So I'm feeling good. Working on that. So, like you said, the delusional girl era, which is like, it's almost like you're doing affirmations and you're reprogramming. So I'm not in that. I'm not saying I'm a delusional girl era, but I am applying the principles. So you got to talk. I got to talk right. I got to think right. If I could talk right, if I could think right, then I'll be right.
So my mental health check-in, I'm feeling really good. Like, I have been sick. You can hear it in my voice. So much snot. Like, so much snot. Like,
Me too.
Huh?
I got my allergies too, but go ahead.
Like, how much snot and mucus can be? Like last night,
wow.
I took a congestion pill, and I was blowing my nose, and it was just non-stop snot coming out, and I was like, where is this coming from? Like, I'm a Google, because I was just so interested. Like, it's so much snot. Like, it's non-stop snot. So yeah, but other than that, like, so I've been in the house all day, and I hate to spend like, I was babysitting my nieces and nephews Friday night, and then today I was in the house all day. I don't think I've left the house in 2 days, and I hate that. Like, I want to be out. I want to be outside. I want to be eating at a restaurant every weekend, and I did not do that. But I'm still blessed. I am happy.
You are.
I looked forward to this podcast. Like, this was like my rainbow. This was like my pot of gold at the end of the rainbow for my weekend. Like, I was so ecstatic and so excited about the podcast, because one of the reasons why I wanted to start a podcast was because of our conversations. Like 10 years ago, I feel like, I'm like, oh my God, these conversations that we have would be so beneficial for people to hear, because they get so deep. And I'm just so grateful that you decided to come on the show. We have so much in store for 2024, y'all. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. I have a Patreon that is going to be crazy, y'all. We are coming out with Melanie, That's Scary with Melanie P After Dark. It's going to be full of lingerie, couple activities, me activities in lingerie. It's going to be just really uncensored, rated. That's too much. Not rated. Too far. But it's going to be very much what I can't say here, because my mama is always listening to my podcast. So it's just like ridiculous. Like, listen to my podcast. Like, what the fuck? Don't listen to my podcast, Mom. Please. Like, please, if you made it this far, just...
Why? Your mama want to support.
I don't want her listening to... I don't want her or any of the people in her age group, and you know who I'm talking to. I don't want anybody in my mama age group listening to my podcast, because I feel... because it's stuff that I want to say that sometimes I feel like I'm not going to say, but in 2024, I'm saying it because one thing I learned is that I'm grown. Like, I'm totally grown. I pay my bills. Like, I'm totally grown. I can say and do what I want to do. Before I end... I gotta make a shout out to Southern Edge. So you're gonna hear a lot about this Black-owned liquor company in my podcast on 2024. I have partnered with Southern Edge. When I tell y'all, if you look at any of my podcasts, 9 times out of 10, I'm drinking something. I love to have a nice cocktail. I always have. I was connected with Southern Edge. When I tell you, I was very nervous about trying their beverages. They have a sweet tea vodka, and then they have a salted caramel bourbon, I believe. When I tell you the best drink that I have had ever, I have not drank anything since I've tried this. I was worried that because it was sweet tea and salted caramel, that it was going to be very sweet. It's not sweet. You don't need anything to mix it with. This is what I'm drinking tonight. I'm drinking the sweet tea. I'm drinking Southern Edge. Ooh. I'm drinking Southern Edge sweet tea. And when I tell you, this is the best drink I've ever had. Like, I have not had anything else to drink other than Southern Edge since I tasted this. It is a really, really good beverage. If you want to taste if you want a bottle, please DM me. I'll get a bottle over to you for, a price. But Black owned, locally grown, like such a great, great liquor. So I'm trying to support those businesses. And listen, I'm not going to ever lie if something is good or not. I'm never going to lie. At the end of the day, you look so confused right now, Cornelius.
Oh, no, I was thinking about something else. Go ahead.
Lord Jesus, great, great guest. Not even in the show right
now. My bad.
Not even on the same wavelength I am right now. Cornelius, any closing words?
Hey, be in your delusional era as far as affirmations and, take you to the next level. Happy 2024. Hopefully my power holds out for the end. But
do you feel like you'll come back on the show?
Me on. Say that again?
Do you feel like you'll come back on the show?
Yeah. Anytime. Just let me know. And I'm a 1%, but go ahead.
1% battery life? Your phone is not hooked up to a charger?
Nah. But I was going gangster.
What sense does that make? Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. At one point, I was like, I hope this man had enough sense to have his phone hooked up to the charger while he was on this show. And you
the way I got it set up, and then but I'll be better next time. But if I pop out, it was real.
So ghetto. This is so ghetto. Oh my God, if I pop out.
Let me, if I cut off. But yeah, let me know, and I'll be back on, and we'll do it again.
Absolutely, guys. Make sure you are following the That's Scary with Melanie P podcast. Make sure you are subscribed to the YouTube. Make sure you're following me on Instagram. That's Scary _podcast. I got so much shit coming down the pipelines for 2024. If you want to be a guest on the show, DM me. I'm worldwide. This is going to be the #1 podcast everywhere. His phone about to die in 10, 9, 8, 7. No,
that's a strong 1%. It's an Apple.
That's an Apple. Look, Apple 1% will be for another day because 1% will last forever. Y'all, thank you so much for coming and listening to the show. We will see you next week on another episode of That's Scary Melody podcast. Make sure you subscribe.